Hi art friends, it's Mrs. Pekin. I just wanted to tell my online art friends how much I miss seeing you in class, and I hope you're doing well. And I've gotten a few pictures from you. If you ever want to email me what you're doing at home, I would love to see what you're working on. I wanted to go over a few things on my page. So I wanted to make sure that you saw that there's a standard there that tells us what we should be learning for the week. On my Bitmoji classroom, that's where you're going to find your video lesson and information about your lesson. Also, I've added an art library this week, so there's different books that you can listen to about different artists and different art stories. And so make sure that you're checking that out. Also this month is the Inktober Challenge. So the Inktober Challenge has been around for several years, and artists around the world go ahead and participate in that. And so we have one for us as well. And so each day in October there's a different drawing prompt, and you can choose to draw a picture around that drawing prompt. And then I'll also be doing that through October and be sharing some of my pictures that I am making as well. Today we're going to talk about an artist, Yayoi Kusama. She's a Japanese artist who really enjoyed using dots repetitively in her pictures. And so today we're going to work on our own dotted pumpkin picture. She used unusual colors, bright colors, and lots of dots. So there's some information about her and some examples of her artwork on my page that you might take a look at before we get started today. So today you will need a piece of paper, a pencil, something to color with. So that could be crayons, markers, or colored pencils. You decide which you like to work with. You will need a black crayon, a black colored pencil, or a black marker will work too when we're going to be practicing some of those repetitive dots. So I have my example that I've been working on, and so I'll meet you over at the demonstration table and we'll get started. Okay, I'm all ready to go. So I went ahead and grabbed a Sharpie just so that you could make sure and see the lines I'm drawing. I'm going to start by making that almost peanut shaped in the front with those two curved lines and attaching them together. Then I'm going to go around and add those other lines to show the other parts of the pumpkin. So I'm using curved lines. Also added a stem. You can think about what you'd like your stem to look like. Now I'm going to do that same step over, but I'm going to make a pumpkin that's a little bit smaller. This is going to show us some perspective in our drawing. As things go back in the distance, we want them to look like they're farther away. We do that by making them smaller. Now I'm going to try to make one that looks like it's closer to the page by zooming in and looking as if it is going off the page and showing you as if it is right in front of us, that big pumpkin. I'm going to go back in the distance and add one more small pumpkin. So this is my smallest pumpkin because I want you to think that it's furthest away. You can add as many pumpkins as you would like to your drawing. Now I'm going to back and add a few lines to show that my pumpkins are not floating around in space but are actually on a hill. So you can see I just added a couple lines, making sure to skip my pumpkins so that it looks like they are behind those pumpkins. Now it's time to make those famous dots. So I am making a variety of different sizes of dots, but I'm making sure that they're lined up. So it's almost like I'm making that dotted line, that element of art line. So you want to make sure that you're using a variety of sizes, but that you could connect those dots together and I'd know which direction to connect them. So I'm just going to spend some time making different sizes of dots, making sure that I cover all of my pumpkins. You could use marker first and go over your pumpkins with a color. You could also color your pumpkin in first and then go over it with crayon to make the dots, or you could go over it with marker to make the dots. You decide how you would like to complete your pumpkin. So I have 4 pumpkins that I'm going to be working on my dots. So here you can see I've already colored in my first pumpkin, and I decided to do a red pumpkin. Next I decided to do blue. So when we look at her pumpkins, she doesn't always use the colors that we think of as a pumpkin. So I'm going to try to avoid orange on my pumpkins and maybe try something a little bit different. Make them super colorful. Again, on my first pumpkin I used marker for my dots. On this one I'm going to try out some crayon and see which one I like better. I'm working on that corner purple pumpkin. Lots and lots of dots. This is called repetition. It's an important part of art making. Sometimes artists like to repeat something over and over again. We're going to get lots of practice making dots today. Now it's time to work on that background. That's right, more dots. This time I chose a different color to do some dots with. So you can see that I'm just going to add lots and lots of dots to that background. So next I'm going to add something a little bit different to my background. So I've decided to add some different lines, connecting them, and when I connect lines I end up making shapes. So I see a lot of diamonds as I'm connecting mine, but you can use whatever shape you'd like. Here's the completed picture. Can't wait to see your masterpiece. Happy creating!